Thank you, Sandeep ji. Thank you very much for those kind words. मेरे बीवी के सामने बोलते थे तो और अच्छा लगता था. Thank you, Gupta ji, for inviting me. For those who don't know, maybe you all were not listening to Sandeep ji. My name is Boman Irani. I just want to make sure that you all know who you're listening to. नहीं बोलना अच्छा है. बोलना अच्छा है. Because you should never, and this is my piece of advice to everybody, never take anything for granted. Never. You must never assume that people should know who you are. Who are you? You're doing a job like anybody else, like anyone in the world. It's just that my job comes on the big screen and also because I'm so big, size-wise. So I'll tell you why I came to this conclusion of why you should never take anything for granted. I got how much? 1.5 hours to speak? No? No. Mr. Mariwala, I'm really sorry, because I'm really sorry. Where are you, sir? God bless you, sir. Thank you. So what an honor to meet you. Mr. Godrej, please give them a big hand. To Jimmy, to the Mead brothers, connected to all of them. Connected to all of them. The Mead brothers, when they came to Bombay, I did their portfolio when I was a photographer. Jimmy Mistry, so wonderful. Can't hold a candle to him. So the next best thing is I bought a flat in his building and I live next door. Aur kya kar sakte? But talking about never taking anything for granted. Once I was on a flight and I was wishing everybody in the morning on the flight. I like doing that. I was nodding. And one guy with a phone was talking loudly at 6 o'clock in the morning. Loudly. You know how irritating that can be. Everybody saying, yeah, you've done it, so don't make. And he suddenly spotted me. He said, Hurry! Sir, aapne, main aise kar raha hu jaise, aapne. I'm just saying. Hurry, mera favorite actor. He started selling the other guy on the line. ये मेरा दुनिया का सबसे favorite actor. अरे my God, मैं बात करवाता हूँ. बात करवाता हूँ? क्या बात करवाता हूँ? I'm sitting over there trying, हाँ. मेरा favorite. Sir, please बात कीजिए. Hello. And then he whispers in my ear, भाई साहब आपका नाम क्या है? कचरो થઈ ગયો ને? So don't take anything. Sir, not you. Look like my favorite actor. Om Shivpuri Saab, also my favorite actor. Yeah. You know, the last 3 or 4 speakers, 3 of them turned out to be Parsis. And they are saying the community is dying out. What the hell? Come on, man. Who says? They say the community is dying out. It is true. It is true. There are now, correct me sir if I'm wrong, there are only 67,000 Parsis left in the world. In the world. And 3 of them are in this room. And we are making an impact even today. Yeah. Bija છે 3-4. તમે પારસી છો? સદરો કસ્તી. આજે ડિનર પર શું ખાશો તમે? If you have Dansak, then you are a Parsi. Otherwise, no. All right. But there are only 67,000 Parsis left on this planet. And we are still making an impact. And I think we should be very proud to have this community in this country. And Godrej Saab mentioned about in the mangroves, there are the tigers and the conservationists. And they're talking about save the tiger, save the tiger. Ke marwa do tiger ne, save the Parsi. What do you say? I just how much I got? 1 hour 20 minutes left. A little bit about myself. Every human being must want something. If you don't want something, she's waving out to you. I thought she was waving hello, ma'am. I was waving her. Hi, how are you? If you don't want something, you don't have a story to tell. Mr. Godrej, Jimmy Mistry, and in a very small way, I wanted something out of life. I always wanted to be on stage. I always wanted to be an actor, ever since I was a little kid. And if you don't want something, find something that you want. Otherwise, your story is not worth tracking. Your story is not worth telling. When I was a little kid, my mother realized that because academically I was not very strong. Not at all. In fact, I still don't know what 2 and 2. This clock is going on here. I don't know whether it's going forward or backward. Honestly. I really... But correct clock ne maru peju kharab thai gayi. So I always wanted to be on stage, be an actor, be a photographer, be a writer, be a director. And it took me many, many years with encouragement. Encourage your kids to let them do what they want to do, not what makes you look good when they do things that you want to make them do. Very important. So I joined theatre, I became a photographer, I fulfilled every single want that I had. Every single want. At the age of 35, I became a photographer. At the age of 38, I went on stage for the first time. For 3 minutes, Shamak Davar took me to Alec Padamsi and said, put this man on stage. I said, why? He said, you'll get 200 rupees a night. I said, really? And he gave me a 3-minute appearance. And I said, what am I going to do in 3 minutes? And then Bruce Lee was a big name those days. You remember Bruce Lee, the Kung Fu karate guy? And I'm not good at quotations, but this one quotation stuck in my head. And Bruce Lee said, I do not fear the man who has 1,000 kicks. I fear the man who has 1 kick, but he practices it 1,000 times. And I said, I got these 3 minutes to make an impact. It's now or never. And I practiced and practiced and practiced those 3 minutes. That song. It was a song and it was a part in a musical play. And suddenly, the audience clapped. And I said, this is where I belong. One of my wants is complete. Keep having wants. The moment you complete one want, find another. Because after that you say, oh, I did what I was supposed to do. And then I joined movies. And when Munna Bhai MBBS came out, let me tell you a quick story. Do I? 1 kalak 10 minutes hai? Mariwala said, maaf karjo sir. I did a play and Mr. Vinod Chopra calls me and says, I want you to come over for dinner. And he gave me a check of 2 lakhs. I said, what for? He said, meri agli picture ke liye. I said, picture ka naam, meri paas kahani hi nahi hai. I said, filmi log bahut ajeeb hote hain. Mere paas kahani hi nahi. So I said, why you give me 2 lakhs? He said, the day you start acting in Hindi movies, you will not give me dates. Take it now. I want you in my first movie. I said, okay. Acha laga. But gayab ho gaya 8 mahine ke liye. I said, what do I do with this check? As a good Parsi, I did not lodge it. And he called me up 8 months later and he said, Yara, kahani mil gayi, bahut kamal ki kahani hai, kamal, kahani mil gayi. I said, picture ka naam kya hai? He said, Munna Bhai MBBS. And I said, I hated the name. Ye kya hai? Bolo, kahani kya hai? Arey, ek gunda hai, wo doctor banna chahta hai. I said, it's the worst story in the world. मेरा रोल क्या है? अरे तू एक डॉक्टर है, हंसते रहेगा पूरे पिक्चर में. I said, it's the worst character in the world. But I went and he said, have belief. He sent me to Raju Hirani and said, suno. I said, कौन है ये राजू? I said, मेरा assistant. I said, आपका assistant picture बनाएगा, आप नहीं बनाएंगे? क्या बात कर रहा हो? ये कौन है राजू? And Raju Hirani told me the story of Munna Bhai MBBS with such belief, so much joy, so many tears, and all you've got to do is believe. Believe in what you're putting out there. Believe in, even if the world doesn't believe in it. And I did Munna Bhai BBS, which failed miserably when it opened. Maybe you don't know this. It was a flop. Nobody went to see it. My career after that went on. I kept doing some work, some good, some not so good. But my wants never stopped. When I was a little kid, I told you I wanted to be a writer and a director. And I started writing a script. I wrote a script, and I read it, and I said, Oscar. No, 1 second. I woke up in the morning and I threw it in the trash can. Kachra tha. Because, just because you work 20 years in the business does not automatically qualify you to do something else in the business. You've only worked as an actor, not as a writer. You start from scratch. You start learning the basics like a student, no matter how old you are. And I learned, and I went to New York, just like Jimmy did, and I found myself a guru who taught me every single day what it is to be a writer correctly. And now, at the young age of 62, I will be the first grandfather debutant writer-director. You never stop your want. And the greater the want, the greater the obstacles. Any character in any movie, take Sholay, take Lagan, take any movie. The character always has an insurmountable want. And the greater the want, the greater the obstacle, and you keep fighting on. More than that, all I can say is, this is something I didn't bargain for. That was not part of my want. But now that I get it, I am utterly grateful. And that want is your love and your respect today. Thank you very much for having me.